world is filled with chaos. You can either participate in it, or you can learn to calm it. The choice, my friends, is yours. So now, let's go and calm some chaos. The word chaos has been thrown around quite a bit lately. In fact, I've been hearing the word chaos and chaotic being thrown around more than ever lately. And it's 2024 June, almost July even. Now, I've been talking about chaos since 2019, and that's why I started my Calming the Chaos podcast. So today, I want to take you back in time, back to 2019, and briefly visit where I started, and that is defining chaos, and then take you back to the present moment and what I am doing to calm my chaos. And we'll offer you some tips and tools to use to calm chaos in any situation. Are you ready? Let's go. Well, let's start with chaos. What is it anyway? According to definitions, chaos can have several. 1. Complete disorder. 2. Unpredictable behavior. 3. Is a random or intense situation. 4. Small changes that happen in bundles or are sensitive in nature. 5. General disorganization. 6. This is my favorite. A confused mass or mixture. Sounds like me in the kitchen, right? So there I was back in 2019, offering up a definition of chaos. And chaos can apply in most every area of your life. For example, your physical well-being. I had a couple of podcast interviews where I had people on who had cancer diagnosis and were able to survive the chaos of having cancer. Also, when you think about life domains, there are legal things that can happen that can cause you chaos. Say you get arrested and you commit a crime, or maybe you even don't commit a crime and you get arrested. And then there are the societal and political things that can cause us chaos. And this can kind of bleed into the mental, emotional chaos that goes on when things around our world, politically and societally, there are things that really upset us. These things that are like random and unpredictable, out of the blue, and too much can happen. So if we want to look at politics, we can think about a presidential election that really has a lot of information out there and can cause you a lot of confusion about what's true and what's not true. And there can be mental and emotional chaos that can flow out of that. In addition, we can have family or relationship chaos, so things that are very confusing and overwhelming in our relationships and our families, and also in finances, in careers, in any kind of schooling that we might be doing, any learning and or technological. That really causes me chaos. And all of this produces some overwhelm when it is completely random, too much, too intense, confusing, and comes out of nowhere and sort of takes you by surprise and overwhelms you. So I'm going to give you some examples of some big events that have caused us some chaos as people across the world. First thing that comes to my mind is any kind of war will cause chaos because there's so much going on and so many developments, and things can happen really quickly. Things can come out of nowhere and can cause you to have to think quickly and on your feet. Also, some extreme weather systems like Hurricane Katrina, or financial systems like the big stock market crashes that we've had. The chaos is always there when there is a lot going on. It's very intense, it happens very suddenly and very quickly, and it causes confusion. But there are also things that cause chaos that are tinier in nature, and this is where we're going to start with my front, back, and side yards. Now, what we have is on a not such a survival level, but on a, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming me in my mind level. And so examples of these little, I would say, micro chaotic events that can cause you a lot of chaos. It's going to be maybe you had a fight with your friend or your partner, or you have a closet or a drawer or a room or a house that is cluttered and it's causing you a lot of distress. For me, my garden and yard causes me a lot of distress, especially because I like to keep a nice yard, and we have not had the weather this year that I have been able to get out and do anything about it until just recently. And I'll show you some film about that. And, other things too, like maybe you get laid off of your job and your finances are in peril. Those are on these developmental or more less life-threatening levels. What about if you want to buy a house? All of the things involved with buying a house can really cause a lot of chaos because there's so much stuff. There are so many factors to consider. It's quite overwhelming. What about planning a wedding? That you can really get a lot of chaos from, because there are things coming out of it everywhere from your family and your friends, the expectations you have to being the bride or the groom or a member of the wedding party. People are very concerned with their physical appearance and what they're going to do, how they're going to behave and act. Boy, oh boy, weddings and buying homes, although they're considered good stress, can really cause chaos. I'm sure there are many more little ways that life can cause you chaos, but let's now go to my garden, the thing that has actually been causing me a lot of chaos and how I was able to calm it. So we're going to look at some footage before and some during and some after effects of my garden. So let's go. So the first thing you'll see is a picture of my patio area. The patio area, lots of pine needles and lots of junk on the patio. And then, of course, having to contend with uncovering our patio furniture. And this monstrosity here that looks like Cousin It. It's, well, I think it needs to go. Some old pots with some herbs that never grew, and one of the ones being rhubarb that my cat destroyed last year, so there was a memory. And then there are some statues that are missing, some overgrown plants, and a mossy bench you can see. So I'm wondering at this time what I'm going to do, because look, it's overgrown with weeds and there's all kinds of, there's plants that I don't want there, and there's another little baby cousin It that I see in the background. Oh my goodness. But I am actually choosing to relish the nice weather, even though I'm seeing all of this weeding I'm going to need to do. I am praying for my poor back. So possibly trying to ward off some physical chaos to come along. And as I travel through my yard, it is even worse because it's mostly weeds. And not even the daisies have fully come up yet. But then I'm looking at it going, it may not be that bad. Yeah, it's mostly weeds, but look at the sunshine. Thank goodness the sunshine is here. So part of calming chaos is to be able to notice, and that is being aware. That's the first step, aware. And awareness is going to help you to be able to think about, what is it that you are noticing? What is it that you are seeing? And what is it that you can accept? And what is it that you can change? Because we only have a certain amount of physical abilities to change things. The rest, we only can accept. So the very first step is being aware, and that's what I'm doing by circulating my property. This here has been a bone of contention for years. We have a gravel part of our driveway that gets overrun by weeds. And by weeds, I mean, usually green weeds like dandelions, but I have gone and killed them all. So that is something that I could change. I did not want to accept having weeds that were green in my gravel. And so I killed them all with a mixture of Epsom salt, Dawn soap, and white vinegar. Now, the only problem is what I'm noticing is that they are all dead, but I have got to pluck them all out of that gravel area that you see here. Isn't this fun? Plus, this area here, I've probably got to kill some of those weeds as well. So you can kind of see what I have to contend with, or what I did have to contend with on the other side. I will kill those and pluck them out. Traveling into the front yard, the very first thing I notice is that our arbor is gone. And that's because it blew over during the winter, and you'll see it in just a minute here. Our arbor usually stands right into the entryway into our front yard, but sadly, you could probably see it. It's going to be off to our right. It is not doing so well. It collapsed. Plus, I'm looking at some bark that needs to be replaced, some black plastic. There's the arbor right there. And it's not standing up well. It's broken in a couple places. Timmy's gonna have to fix it, and I don't know what that's gonna take. But I've got some work to do in this yard, in this area. We don't have any grass, and so it's kind of neat to be able to just have the bark there. We don't have to do any mowing, but the bark needs to be replaced, as you can see. Traveling on the path going around the house, this is our side yard, I'm seeing that things look pretty good. And the reason why is because we had an internet outage, and our internet goes from one part of our house across the street, right where that chimney is. And when they restored our internet, they actually did some pruning. So I was pretty happy about that. But here we are back at the patio again, so we can look around. And again, just be aware of the things that we want to change in our environment. So this is our inner patio. This is really the pergola area. And this area here has very little that we need to do in it. I've actually been doing some weeding, and throughout the years, barked and rebarked, and this area does not have a whole lot of weeds. In fact, it's grown a nice, pretty little plant fixture naturally right there at the very front of where we usually put our TV and do our outdoor karaoke. You can see that. And, you know, it doesn't look too bad out there, not at all. And this is when I have actually gotten Timmy to weed whack. So part of it is you be aware of what you want to change, and think about the things that you can accept and the things that you can change. And you can also call for help. Like, there you go. Timmy did some weed whacking. Looks wonderful. I focused on what needed to be done. I assessed the difficulty levels, and I asked for help. So there's another couple of A's for you. The second A being assess. And you could probably put another A in there and ask for help. That's a little subsection. And so I did some of the work myself as well. I committed my time, energy, and patience to doing some of this yard work. And I knew it would take a lot of time. And so what I did was I agreed that I would spend the time, energy, and have the patience necessary to do what I needed to do to make this yard look as good as I could make it look, and to ask for help when I needed to. So as I was doing that, I got a little creative with the scissors. The scissors are these bushes right here. They're native plants. Don't ask me the name of them. But what I did is I clipped them off and put them in mason jars full of water. Now, mason jars full of water may seem a little strange to you, but hear me out. These particular plants last a long time in water. In fact, I put some of these plants in water last year, and they lasted all through the winter. In fact, the only reason why these plants ended up dying was because the glass jars ended up breaking because they froze because they were out there in the elements. So what I'm going to do with these is now I'm going to stage them into this little planter, which has some dirt in it, but I'm gonna just stage them in there. So I don't have to worry about plants growing or not growing. All I have to do is keep them water jars filled up, and I'm good to go. And so I agree to spend the time, energy, effort, and creativity and have the patience to do some of these gardening things. And that is the third A, is agree. And we have done quite a nice job there. And we will continue to keep you updated and see if these things survive. But yeah, the pergola area looks really nice, and I am really super proud of it. And, you know, it's just something that I like doing that causes me a little bit of chaos when I see it out of order. And then to put it in order really helps me calm my own chaos. And you can use this, what is going to be a 5-step method. I've given you 3 steps so far, but you can use this 5-step method to handle any kind of chaos that you encounter in your life. Now, I gotta say, I like getting myself some catnip. So this year I did buy some catnip starts, and my cats like it, but I can't keep it upstairs because they'll get to it, they'll roll on it, and they go crazy about it. It's like kitty cat pot. So what I'm gonna do here is just clip off a couple of catnip leaves, because, you know, in the middle of your chaos and in your actions, you need to have some fun. And so here's what I did with my cats as I was doing my actions, spending my energy, being as patient as possible, and acting, which is actually number 4 on my list. I forgot about number 4, action. Yes, I did take action, as you see. And there's Louie. Yes, he is scarfing up the catnip. I give a leaf to Malia, or Momo, and she is also busy with that. No. And I'm trying to find Mana. Oh, there she is. Okay. Let's see if we can give Mana a leaf as well, or if Louie steals it from her. She got it. Well, I guess she got it. Oh, yeah. See, this is what usually happens. See, talk about chaos. See, Mana thought that she had a catnip leaf, and she didn't. And I don't know. Oh, and maybe she did. So these sudden changes can sometimes come to order. And so far, the first A is being aware of what needs to change, what you can accept and what you can change. And the second A is to assess what you need to do. And then also being able to agree, that's the third A, about what sort of energy, effort, patience you want to put in. And then there is then also the fourth A, which is action. Now, as you can see, I have trimmed down some of these plants and also weeded most of the dry riverbed here, which looks really nice, but there is a section that is really very chaotic. I should say that. Yeah, so I had to turn over all of these rocks to get these pieces of grass out. This is again going back to the phase where you agree. When I looked at this little section of grass, when you're bending over doing this kind of work for this long, it is not easy. And so I did agree that I was going to do the best that I could and pull out these weeds and turn over the rocks and continue to do this and be as patient as possible. For me, that meant like getting up a lot of times and stretching out my back, going into the shade, because as you can see, it gets kind of sunny here. So not only did I have to do all of the rock turning over and weeding of the area there that you see, it got done eventually. And then I had to literally kick these rocks. So I was kicking rocks, guys. I kicked these rocks back into place because I really didn't want to bend over. And I don't know what we did with our big old metal rake. But see, I kicked them back into place and voila, no weeds. And here is my new dry river bed. Doesn't it look great? This is a cool dry river bed that I built years and years ago, but I'm trying to still keep it up. And so this brings me to my last A. The fifth A is appreciate. And in this stage, you go back over your work and you look and you're able to say, oh, this is what I did. And oh, isn't this pleasant to look at? I appreciate the work that I did. Here you can see that I put my angel statue back up. And look how cute she looks. And you can actually see the patio from here and how very comfortable it looks. And I will show you the back of my angel because it is so cute. She's got a cute little behind there. I just love that little angel. I take her in every year because I don't want her to break. But yeah, you go around and the last A is appreciate. You always want to go back and appreciate your work. And, I want to make a big point here. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's acceptable. And you, again, agree about what you are going to want to do and how much time, energy, and effort that you want to put in, and agree with that. And then be patient with yourself. And then you appreciate the benefits of having a nice yard. For me, this is the calm after the chaos. It helps to know that I have a really good space. That's one of the things that's really important to me, is having a really nice, clean space. And as you can see, it looks fantastic. I've done a lot of work. I did 2 rounds of mowing, and I did a bunch of weeding, and I did a lot of rock kicking. So you can use this simple formula for calming the chaos in any situation of your life. I just decided to illustrate it to you using my yard and garden. Okay, so here are the steps again. Be aware of what's going on and what is in your environment. Figure out what you want to accept and what you want to change. And you're just going to be aware, and you're just going to notice without judging. And then you're going to want to assess what you want to change, figure out what needs to be done and what you can act upon, and or what you want to call on somebody else for help. And then you want to do the agreement, which is step 3. You want to be able to agree within yourself what you have the time, energy, and what you want to spend your effort on, and how much patience you want to have with your project. Whatever it is, whatever you're going through, you're going to need to make an agreement within yourself, and also ask for help if you need help in order to get some of these things done that you need to get done. And then you want to act. You want to actually get going, move forward, and get your legs in gear or your plan in place, and you want to actually take the steps necessary. So planning in and of itself is great, but you've got to take some committed action if you really want things to change. So you do have to act. That's step number 4. And step number 5 is appreciate. All of this restoration of order from the chaos that is my yard. So my yard did cause me some chaos, and you might think it's one of those little things. And it kind of is, because it wasn't a war, it wasn't a riot, and it wasn't a big weather event. But in my mind, it caused me chaos until I assessed it, I was aware of it, and I was able to act upon it, and then I could appreciate it. And so I challenge you to try, next time you experience any anxiety or overwhelm or chaos in your life, I challenge you to try this method, this 5-step method to calm your chaos. You can do what I did in any area of your life. That is the bottom line. All right. Thank you for joining me today on Calming the Chaos. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and we will see you on the next one. Take care. Thanks for joining me on Calming the Chaos. If you've calmed your chaos today, then that's great. And if not, well, there's always tomorrow or the next day. Thanks for listening, and take care.